Cowboy fans, get ready to meet our new basketball staff. Everybody on this staff is somehow connected to Oklahoma State basketball. You're going to find that out through these interviews. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Stillwater, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
It's
Appreciate
awesome
it.
to have you here. All right, let's really get to know you, because there's some of the guys here that kind of have a connection back to Mr. Iba. If they don't connect to Mr. Iba, they connect to Coach Sutton in some form or way. But you're probably the most asked about coach when I'm out in the community. So let's just get to the foundation. Where were you raised?
Born and raised in Colorado. Denver, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Been in Colorado most of my life. Family's still there. Yeah, I'm a Colorado guy through and through.
There you go.
Yep.
So, big snow skier?
No. Skied one time in my life. I don't have too much interest in paying a lot of money to be cold and fall on my rear end.
So, when did you get involved in basketball?
So I played in high school. I was a mediocre high school player, but I loved the sport. Went to college at Colorado State University and knew I wanted to coach. So got involved in coaching my first year in college. Yep.
So who was at Colorado State? Was Boyd the head coach?
Dale Lair was the head coach.
Dale Lair was the head coach.
Yep.
How about that?
Yep.
What a great guy. So did you join the staff there? Were you on staff there with them?
So my first 3 years at Colorado State when I was a student, I worked at a high school, was a high school coach, and then was a varsity assistant and then a head sophomore coach. And then my last year, I was a student assistant or student manager for Dale Lair.
Okay, so you go from Colorado State, you've graduated, graduate assistant. Where do you go from there?
I do an internship at Arizona State with a guy named Rob Evans for the summer. And then one of the guys.
Rob Evans.
There you go.
Here we go.
Right?
Back to Oklahoma State.
There you go. Back to Oklahoma State.
We got a connection.
A little bit of a
There we
tie,
go.
right?
Yeah.
Worked for Coach Evans for the summer, working camps, doing a little bit of everything that they asked me to do. A guy named Pat Eberhardt gets a Division II job, who was an assistant at Colorado State in the summertime. So I go and work for him for 4 years at CSU Pueblo. And that's kind of where it starts taking off.
All right, let's go from there.
CSU Pueblo for 4 years, and then go to New Mexico Junior College.
Now explain to everybody the success of New Mexico State has greatly depended on New Mexico Junior College.
Yeah.
And they've won multiple championships and multiple NCAA appearances. But this is one of the top junior college jobs in the country.
Yeah.
How do you get that job?
So a guy named Chris Tift was the head coach at the time. I go and work for Coach Tift for 3 years as his assistant coach. And then he goes on to TCU as an assistant. And then I get the head job at New Mexico Junior College. Now, when Coach Tift and I got there, a guy named Ron Black had been there earlier on, but they had been really bad for about 10 or 12 years since he had retired. So we kind of get it back on the map, and then fortunate enough to have a kid named Jeff Newberry, who played here with us, and had a couple guys, Kenrich Williams, who now plays for the Thunder, Chris Boucher, who plays for the Raptors, so I had a lot of good players in my tenure as a head coach. And so then it kind of starts taking off to where a lot of those guys start going to New Mexico State, and there's a little bit of a pipeline there as well.
So you jump from there to
Omaha, Nebraska as an assistant.
And why Omaha? Division I at the time?
Division I. Wanted to get into Division I. My goal was to try to be at this level, maybe one day be a head Division I basketball coach. Pat Eberhardt, who I worked for at Division II, was an assistant at Omaha, and we had a player named Devin Patterson that went on to Omaha from New Mexico Junior College. So there were some ties there that just naturally fit.
Sure.
So go to Omaha for a year, and then a good friend of mine, Grant McCaslin, gets the Arkansas State job. And he had always told me when I was in junior college, hey, I'm going to hire you if I get a job. And you hear that a lot when you're a junior college coach. He stayed true to his word and hired me at Arkansas State. So I was in Omaha for a year. We had just had our firstborn. My wife loves me after these next couple of years. We go to Arkansas State for a year, take over a program that had been down. We win. Coach Matt gets the North Texas job. So we're in Jonesboro, Arkansas for a year. Then we go to Denton, Texas for a year. And then Chris Jans, who was the head coach at New Mexico State, calls me after a year at North Texas, and then we go back to New Mexico. So it was 4 moves in 4 years. To say my wife is a saint and an angel would be an understatement.
All coaches' wives are.
That's true.
All coaches' wives are.
Four moves in 4 years with 2 little ones, though. Mixed in. She's a trooper.
Yeah, she's a trooper.
Yeah.
We probably should interview her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Get your
That's right.
Get her
Get
in
the most
here.
important one.
Yeah, she's the most important one. So you've worked with Chris Tift, can coach.
Yep.
And he's a good human being.
Absolutely.
And Pat, I know Pat is a really good guy. Chris Jans can coach his tail off.
Yep.
As obvious about the time. I knew about you before you knew about me because my athletic director that hired me at Southern Illinois was your athletic director at New Mexico State.
That's right.
Mario Mocha.
That's right.
And there are not a lot of Cuban descent athletic directors out there. But,
no, there's not.
You and I worked for the guy. So you're at New Mexico State, and what happens?
So I go to New Mexico State. I'm there for 4 years. We have a really good run. The last year we were there is the year that we beat Connecticut in the NCAA tournament in the first round, lose to Arkansas in the second round by 5 or 6 points. Memorable for New Mexico State because we do beat UConn. A kid named Teddy Allen had a tremendous game. And then about 24 hours later, Coach Jans gets the Mississippi State job. And so go to Mississippi State for 2 years and been there the last 2 years and had some pretty good success. Took over a program that hadn't done very well and then had been to the NCAA tournament the last couple of years.
All right, so everybody's going to ask this question. They ask this to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a valid question.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the SEC.
Yep.
You're in Mississippi State. Why Stillwater? Why Oklahoma State?
Good question. So Coach Lutz and I became close when he recruited one of our guys at New Mexico Junior College. It's been about 10 or 11 years ago now, which is crazy to say. I consider Coach Lutz one of my best friends and a guy in the profession that I truly trust. Coach Jans was great to me. Took care of me for 6 years, allowed me to be a high major assistant, associate head coach in the SEC. When this position and this situation arose with Coach Lutz and he brought it to my attention and ran it by me, working for a good friend and with a good friend was really appealing to me. As a person that likes challenges, I've been an assistant and associate head coach in the SEC. Now this is a chance to be an associate head coach in the Big 12 and help Oklahoma State get back to where they ultimately want to be in the history and the tradition of this program. I think is a challenge that I really wanted to do. Puts me back in a region where I've had a lot of success previous to. And truthfully, it's just another challenge, and you pay me pretty good money too, so that helps, right? Let's just be honest.
Sure.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think everything aligns, and Coach Lutz aligns with who I am. I want to eventually be a head Division I head coach. It also helps that he's helped guys get head jobs. So I think when you put all of that into a bowl, it just made a lot of sense.
So first impressions, you've been here less than a month. First impressions, let's take 3 impressions. Oklahoma State,
Mm-hmm.
Stillwater, Oklahoma, and the state of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State, they want us to be good. They want us to win, right? I think we have the foundation in place to do that, and I think we have the people around Oklahoma State University to do that. It just needs to take a tweak here and a tweak there and a little bit of energy and passion, and I think we'll be all right. The people in Stillwater and Stillwater, the community, very similar to Starkville. I love it. Down-to-earth people, my type of people. I think they're going to be fanatical when we put a good product down on the floor. That's just reality, right? And in the state of Oklahoma, they love basketball. I've learned that very quickly. They either love Oklahoma State or they love OU. You know, I prefer Orange, obviously, like we talked about earlier.
There we go.
I think that's really exciting to have a rivalry like that. I've been a part of those rivalries, and I know they mean a lot to so many different households in the state. And so that part's really exciting to be a part of that.
All right, let's talk about the most important thing. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, so I have 2 girls, Mia and Macy, 8 and 6, and my wife, Darlene, and they're the best. They really are. I'm excited to get them here.
Well, as a father of 2 daughters, I get what you're saying. How did you meet Darlene?
When I was at Pueblo as an assistant, all the way back to CSU Pueblo, she had played volleyball there, and I worked there for 4 years now. She graduated and moved on, was working, and one of our associate ADs introduced me the last year I was there. So we dated for 8 or 9 months. Then I took the job at New Mexico Junior College, and then she followed me about 9 months later, and then obviously we've been together ever since. So she's, like I said, she's a trooper.
Now, have they had the opportunity to come to Stillwater yet?
She has. Darlene has been here for 3 or 4 days to look at houses and that type of stuff, but the kids have not. They'll be up here in about 30 days.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so when you are away from basketball, and I know as college coaches, we rarely are we.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that that you like to do?
We have a boat. It's like an old boat. We like to go out on the water as much as possible, fish with the girls, just spend time at the pool. I mean, but that's about it. I'm pretty much basketball or family. I'm pretty simple when it comes to that.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Most influential person in your lifetime non-coaching?
Well, I would say outside of my father, it would probably be my high school coach, because he taught me a lot of the things that we still use today. All the foundation of hard work and being able to navigate some tough times, treating people the right way. That's all instilled in me, both by my father and by my high school coach.
Welcome home, Cowboy.
Appreciate it.
You bet,
Thanks,
Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
Cowboy fans, you've just listened to 7 interviews with 7 new coaches, and 2 of those that were members of our family prior to this staff. This is how you can help Cowboy basketball. You heard Scott say it and talk about it. There's several things that you can do. Number 1, you can buy tickets to come see Cowboy basketball. Number 2, you can invite people to come see Cowboy basketball. Number 3, you can help Pokes with a Purpose and help fund this program to the level that we know that it can be. And the 4th, you can also help through NIL. Each one of these athletes coming in can help your company, your cause, your awareness by using their name, image, and likeness. Let's get this building rocking again. Gallagher Iba Arena and Eddie Sutton Court. Loyal and true till the day we die. Go Pokes.